Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about whether or not Amish people party. So the answer to this question is supposed to be no, because Amish people don't believe in partying. It's against their rules. They're not supposed to party. But you know, like any other culture, we like to bend the rules. So the real answer to this question is yes, they party. Okay, well, I guess the more correct way to phrase this is that Amish people don't party, but Amish youths party. Because part of getting baptized and joining the Amish church is promising to stay away from this stuff. So usually, if you see Amish people party, it's the ones that have not been baptized or have not joined the church, but are part of the youth group. And the reason Amish kids party is because, you know, when the church makes the rules saying you can't do something, of course, we think it is cool to do just that. Now, I'm not gonna admit to any underage drinking here because underage drinking is bad. Now, at a certain age, Amish kids are gonna join the youth group, and you're usually gonna be around 16 years old when you join that group. And it's around that time when you start sneaking out, whether it is for partying, tomcatting. Do we have anybody that knows what tomcatting is? I'm not even sure I wanna explain that one. So usually the parties are gonna be in the woods, at a schoolhouse, or if somebody's parents are out of town. And usually the only time we had parties in the woods was when we didn't really have anywhere else to go. I remember one time the cops found out our regular spot, so we had to switch it up because on the weekends, they would be sitting there watching for us. And yes, even though we were driving horse and buggy, we still had to look out for the cops just like anywhere else. And I remember running from them several times. Luckily, they never caught me. And in the area we lived in, I know that we had issues with people going to schoolhouses and partying and then just destroying everything. Like, I'm talking about the folks that would dump alcohol, water, and sometimes even urinate on the books, and sometimes even break stuff. I remember having to help clean up that mess several times. And yes, I did go to the schoolhouses to party sometimes too, but I never destroyed that stuff. But the craziest thing is, I know several people who helped destroy it and make that mess, and then had to come help clean it up on Monday morning. But nobody knew that they were the ones that helped destroy it. And if we were partying at somebody's house where there was kids, we would always take the kids for a walk, or take them out to the woods for a picnic or something like that. Just keep them away from the area where we were partying so they wouldn't snitch on us to their parents. But also because we didn't want to have the kids around that stuff. Okay, are you guys ready for the juicy stuff? And now what happens at Amish parties? At Amish parties, it's usually just like drinking beer, brandy, playing music. Usually somebody brings a stereo or something like that to play music with, because you know, music and alcohol are both against the rules, so of course we want that. But you also have to keep the music down a little so nobody hears it. And also, this is one of the first and only places where males and females get to just hang out with each other and interact with each other and just kind of be treated as equals. And that was always nice. And also, Amish people do make their own wine. My dad used to make wine, but that was because he was the minister of the church and he had to make the wine for communion services. But you know, sometimes that wine might have disappeared a little bit. I'm not saying I drank it, but he did make good wine. And you don't have to be a minister in order to make wine. You're allowed to make your own wine, and it doesn't have to be for communion services. You can drink it, but you can't get drunk off it. I know that some of my brother-in-laws like to try making different wines, and one of their favorite ones was sunflower wine. They would make wine out of sunflowers, and it was good. I remember hearing about how one of my uncles almost got caught by the cops when he was partying. And this was years before I was partying or was even born. But I remember hearing that the cops found them partying out in the woods. They came up to talk to him, and he just took off, and one of the bucket wheels ran over the cop's foot while he was trying to get away. I never did that though. And also, not everybody in the youth group drinks and parties and stuff. It's usually you have a group that does and a group that doesn't. Or some may come to the parties but not drink. Nobody's forced to drink. It's just there if they want to. But I had this cousin. We didn't like hang out with her because she was known as the goody two-shoes. And she would always snitch on people. And I don't know what happened, but something made her decide she wanted to try it. And one time when she was at home, because you know, Amish people, they make their own vinegar too. And the vinegar is usually in the basement. So when she was cleaning the basement that day, she decides she wants to know what it's like to get drunk. And I don't know why, but she decides to drink the homemade vinegar. First of all, I cannot imagine that it tasted good at all, or how she even knew she'd get drunk off that. But she drank enough of that vinegar and it got her drunk. And after that, we didn't have to worry about her snitching on us anymore. And she would come to the parties with us. And also, she was the one telling us the story of her drinking the vinegar to get drunk. Imagine being that desperate to get drunk. But yeah, I have several stories about the Amish parties. And they were always a good time, you know. Especially when you knew you were doing stuff that you weren't supposed to. And we would also drive around with the stereos in our buggies. But if you did that, you had to make sure that you didn't drive through neighborhoods that would recognize your horse or buggy. Because if you did that, they would snitch on you to your parents. And we don't want that. When I was a kid, it was very normal to have buggies come in your driveway with the music blasting, just making a circle and leaving again. But there was several times when they drove in at night when we were sleeping, they would come up to the house and just start breaking windows. Which, come on, that's so not cool. Just destroying somebody's property just for the fun of it. Just because you think it's cool. And smashing mailboxes was another thing. A little disclaimer, I never did that though. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to hear more of my story. And also follow me on TikTok at IdaMachiever1 and on Instagram at IdaChooseHappiness. I will be posting videos and answering some questions on both of those platforms as well.